You hear it all the time. It's like psychiatrist, psychologist, psychiatrist, psychologist. You go to you gotta go to a shrink, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, whatever. Same thing, same thing. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Wellness Week Live. I am your host, DJ Tony. How you doing, Jersey? Keep your fist pumping, goddamn it. Don't ask me about this shirt. I don't know. I figured let me spice it up. Let me, warm weather vibes. Anyways, so what's going on, everybody? How are you, by the way? How are you doing? No, seriously, how are you doing? Okay, I hope you're doing well. And if you're not, it's going to get better. Trust me. Shh, quiet. Listen to me. It's going to get better. Calm the fuck down. It's going to get better. Just take a deep breath. I'm serious. Do it right now. Hold. Exhale. One more time, please. Exhale. They call that block breathing. Don't you feel better already? A little bit. You know you do. Okay. So anyways, let's talk about the terms. Today's show, psychologist versus psychiatrist. They're not the same thing. There are some parallels, some similarities, but they're very, very different. And they kind of intersect and have some parallels. But let's talk about it, because this is Wellness Week Live, and it's all about wellness from head to toe, in and out. And, I think sometimes the hardest thing to be well about is right up here. The mind it's almost magical. I mean, it's aside from the actual brain, the mind it's invisible. Psychologists and psychiatrists deal with the invisible. And I would make the argument that's the hardest healthcare to address and tackle. I mean, listen, nothing is easy in the medical profession. You break an arm, break a leg, heart surgery, brain surgery, nose surgery, plastic surgery, whatever. But, if you break your arm, it's obvious, it's tangible. You put the brace on, the cast, boom, you're better. But your brain, anything from, you having a sad day, you feel sad, to someone, God forbid, is a schizophrenic. I mean, and all that's invisible. And so how do we address these things, and who are the professionals to go to? So I wanted to talk about that. Like, what are the differences? So we hear a lot about that, right? Psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever, goddamn shrink. Okay, so let's get right into it. Psychologist is a PhD, a doctor. Now, this is, by the way, when I say psychologist, I'm talking about psychologists that have PhDs, because you could be a psychologist and have a bachelor's degree. You could be a psychologist and have a master's degree. You could be a psychologist and have a PhD, a doctor. But you can not call yourself a psychiatrist unless you are a medical doctor. You went to medical school. You opened up human beings. You are a medical doctor, just like a heart surgeon is a medical doctor. Same thing. You're both doctors with different specialties. So a little bit different there. Okay, so that's one of the differences. So a psychiatrist is an MD, a medical doctor. They went to medical school. They literally opened up a human body. Okay, they did rotations in cardiology and bariatrics and geriatrics and pediatrics. So, a psychiatrist is a medical doctor. They went through residency and internships, and again, they have a medical license. Okay, a psychologist is not a medical doctor. They're called doctor for their PhD, and doesn't mean one's better than the other. They're just different. Again, but they do some similarities. They work with the mind. So now, not to be confused with a neurologist or a neurosurgeon, which deals with the physical hardware, the actual physical brain. So a neurologist would deal with what the physical brain is putting out, like it's electronics, so to speak, not moods, not bipolar, not you're sad, nothing like that. But a neurologist would work on what kind of energy, literally electricity, short circuits. If you have, God forbid, a stroke or something, or post-stroke, a neurologist is going to look at that. So they also deal with the brain. And then you have a neurosurgeon, which is similar to a neurologist, not to go down this rabbit hole, but the neurosurgeon will crack your head open and remove a friggin' tumor or an aneurysm or, whatever. They will literally get their hands onto your brain, or devices or tools onto your brain. So now we're going on to the software of it, though. And more the feelings of it. So this is where the psychiatrist and psychologist are kind of parallel. So a psychiatrist can write you a prescription or a script. Okay. A psychologist cannot write a prescription or a script. So, because again, you have to be a medical doctor. So, those are the big differences. Okay. Um, a a psychologist will deal with emotions like, oh, I'm feeling sad, or my husband and my wife and I, we're not getting along, or my teenagers are throwing these shit fits, and I want them to focus in school, and so you'll try to psychologists will deal with that. Like I've been to, and I go to my therapist who's a psychologist, and she helps me out with my anxiety and stress for my business and my life, predominantly just my life. I'm a high strung person, so I don't want to go on meds, and I want to work on it cognitively speaking. So literally talk therapy. So you go to a PhD or a psychologist or a therapist. So the psychologist will help you with your feelings, with your, I don't know, I'm embarrassed, or I feel inadequate. I don't, have a chip on my shoulder. You're going to go to a psychologist. Psychiatrist, you can go to a psychiatrist for this too, but you don't really want to. Psychiatrist is going to deal with basically medicine. More than likely, they're going to write pill, 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 pill. And a psychiatrist will deal more with, I would make the argument, the very, very dark, dangerous stuff, like God forbid someone is schizophrenic, or has a they're hearing voices in their head, and the voices are telling them to do bad things, and they have them every time they get a job, they can't seem to work, they quit their job, and they're seeing they're seeing unicorns fly past them every day. You're going to go to a psychiatrist. Psychologists can't help you with that. That's something you're going to probably need medication for, so you go to psychiatrist for that. Medical doctor. I can also tell you, so psychologists I've been to, and I think they're great for problems that are not acute, problems that are not going to, God forbid, hurt yourself or somebody else. Although you can, but typically not. You're gonna go for the feelings and the how to work better with people. That's generally speaking, the psychologist bread and butter. And again, not that one is better than the other; they're just different. The psychiatrist, as I said, more acute, more dark, dangerous potential stuff you go to the psychiatrist for. The other thing I would say is, and I have a firsthand knowledge of this, so I volunteered, and I like volunteering at all different places, whether it be my church or hospitals all throughout the years. And so one year I volunteered at my local hospital, and I was essentially a candy striper, a glorified candy striper. And so what a candy striper is, if you don't know, out here in Jersey, God damn it. So my job is to push the wheelchair around and help admit people into the hospital, or help discharge people out of the hospital. So I had access to any and all places in the hospital to, again, get patients in or get patients out. And so I would be in the NICU, I'd be in the general surgery, the geriatrics, the bariatrics, the oncology, and the what do you call it? The psychiatric ward. And I can tell you, of all the places, the psychiatric ward ain't no joke. I mean, listen, it's some serious shit. I mean, in my opinion, it's in many ways more serious than someone coming out of a heart operation or a orthopedic operation. It's very dark, scary. I don't mean physically dark. Actually, it's very, very bright, but it's very dark, scary, unsettling. If there's hope there's very little hope. I mean, you're dealing with people who, a myriad of stuff, So my heart and my salute goes out to the psychiatrists out there, the psychiatric nurses, the orderlies, anybody, the aides. I mean, it's such a very, very serious place. And so you're dealing with people, again, who have, they may think they're, I don't know, they may think they're St. Peter, literally, no joke. Like they may think that, they're seeing unicorns every day flying around, or they're schizophrenic, or they're mania. They're literally maniacs, and these people are humans, and they're suffering with a disease that is invisible, can't be, so psychiatry is very serious, and so that's the difference, and there is hope. I mean, but in the psychiatric wards, but it's just not. It's not like going to mother baby in a hospital where it's like, oh, the babies were just born and they're in the NICU and they're going to be out and it's joyous, like I tell you, the hospital is a miraculous place. I mean, and kudos to any nurse, doctor, anyone working in a hospital. I don't care if you're the person pushing around the garbage. I mean, you are around life and death, literally by the minute, by the minute, by the minute. I mean, you're seeing life, death. You're seeing people struggle mentally, physically, and then people are like, well, I'm cured. Hey, I mean, it is a microcosm of the world of life and death by the minute, by the second. Anyways, so not to go off that rabbit hole. But anyways, so say a psychiatric ward, actually you have to be buzzed into. You can't just walk onto the psychiatric floor. You're not. So that's different than walking on to the oncology ward or the bariatric ward, and you can just walk right onto that ward or that level or that room, whatever. Only two places that I know in a hospital, at least the ones that I volunteered at, they have to be buzzed in, were NICU, where the babies are preemies, and the psychiatric ward. So yeah, so anyways, that's the difference between psychologist and psychiatrist. Both are serious, no doubt, and it's not that the psychologist is any less serious. Psychology is a very, very serious, job in the healthcare field. Psychology is very serious, and psychiatry is very serious, but in a different way, more again of an acute way. Like every minute counts type of way. Type of vibe. Anyway, so those are the big differences. I would also say on the back end, the office end, psychiatry, oddly enough, is probably covered under your healthcare insurance, where psychology may or may not be covered. So if you want to go for marriage counseling, most insurance is not going to cover that. But if you're having suicidal tendencies, or you think that unicorns are flying in front of your face every day, that's going to be covered under your healthcare insurance. A medical doctor. Okay. It's another little minutia there of differences. What else? For me, I would say this, okay? If, in my experience, like I said, I have a therapist, I love her, and I highly recommend every human on earth go to therapy, a psychologist, a trainer, a priest, a rabbi, an imam, a nun, a sister to help you with your feelings in life. You're angry, you're sad, you're nervous, whatever. Psychologist is great. And by the way, talking to your priest or your pastor or your rabbi or imam, that's cool. But more often than not, and more than likely, they're not trained in psychology, and they're probably not trained in psychiatry. So I would say, if you're having a problem, again, we're just talking about like daily stress of life, and you need some tips on, or you're having a problem in your family, it's okay to talk to a priest, a rabbi, an imam, but they're not clinically trained like a psychologist would be. Or a psychiatrist would be. So I would say, if you can, talking to somebody is better than talking to nobody, just for everyday life stress. Again, you're feeling anxious or stress, or you got whatever, anxiety issues. But talking to somebody is better than talking to nobody. But again, if you can, talk to a psychologist. And I would make the argument, talk to a psychologist, a therapist, get yourself a dietitian or a nutritionist, and get yourself a trainer to handle your whatever it is, depression, anxiety, stress, because you don't want to go to the psychiatrist. If you have to, you go. But psychiatry is like the nuclear option. That's like I told you before. Like if the shit's bad and you're seeing I don't know, Attila the Hun running in your hallways of your house and they're not there. Yeah, you see the psychiatrist, because they're going to put you on meds, and like any med, especially psychological antipsychotic medications, they're heavy hitters, man. This is not aspirin. This is the shit that will, you'll cure one problem, but you have 5 new ones, and a lot of these antipsychotic drugs, they can have side effects like cancer, heart disease, suicidal tendencies. Like, holy shit, you know what I mean? So, and the psychiatrist more than likely is going to prescribe this shit, so you want to be very, very prudent about, if you're going to go to a psychiatrist. I would say that's your nuclear option, so if you're just feeling, like I said, you have some anxiety, or you're not getting along with your spouse, you're having problems with your mom or dad, or, you're feeling stressed at work, or you get panic attacks. I've had panic attacks. I see my therapist, I see a psychologist, and a dietitian, and I get a trainer. And don't tell me you don't have the money, because you have the money. How many shoes do you have? Excuse me. How many? Do you go on vacation? Do you go on vacation? How many subscription plans do you have? Huh? How many times you watching a lot of television? How big is your TV? Do you have the latest phone? Yeah, I thought so. So you have money for the psychologist. Okay, don't tell me your insurance doesn't cover it. Again, you have how many shoes? Yeah, you got money for this. Cut the shit. So just go get us, like, depending on how bad your situation is. But I would say, yeah, if you're really feeling, it's bad, you know what? Get the therapist. Go to betterhelp.com or Talkspace. Highly recommend. And get yourself a dietitian and get yourself a trainer. Because most problems for most people, not everybody, but most people, is nutritional based. A lot of times what we eat can depress us, can suppress us, can hurt us, or can help us. And also getting out and getting up. When you move, when you get vertical move, you release endorphins. You become happy. Literally, your body is an amazing machine that can cure itself of a lot of things or help itself with a lot of things. And then you get your therapist. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be quick. I know sometimes I have friends of mine, they go to the psychiatrist because they have anxiety. I'm like, dude, what? You're on these meds. Like, these meds got problems. Like, no, I'm good. I'm like, you do you, but again, these are heavy hitting things. Even if it's a low dose, like, the psychiatrist default is going to be more likely than not. I'm not saying all the time, but it's more than likely med, pill. So that's why I like cognitive therapy, talk therapy. You go to your therapist, your psychologist, okay, or whatever, but just go. If you're having, again, problems at work, or you need someone to talk to, and you can't always talk to your better half, okay? You need to talk to a third party that's neutral, okay? Anyways, but you might have a psychiatrist out there that's chill and be like, no, I'm not all for the drugs. And then, you go, but yeah, so they handle things differently. Anyway, so that's kind of that in a nutshell. What else I wanted to tell you? That's about it, I think, right? So I have nothing else to friggin' say. If you got any questions, you can message me, type it in the comments. Don't be a sissy. Come on, give it to me. God damn it. But yeah. So I highly recommend you go to a therapist. Excuse me, I just ate. What did I eat? Oh, I had sushi, believe it or not. Konnichiwa. And I had Ezekiel bread with guacamole, a little drizzle of olive oil, and then I made myself a salad. Don't eat iceberg lettuce. That's garbage. That's just empty crap. You need to get kale or spinach. I had some pecans in there, a little bit of corn. I put some raisins, some cranberries, some olive oil, some what do they call that there? The salad dressing. You got to be careful with salad dressing because a lot of it's garbage. But I had vinaigrette salad dressing, and what else I put in that salad? I put pecans, right? And nutritional yeast. Highly recommend nutritional yeast. It's a powerhouse, immune booster, energy booster. It has a cheesy flavor to it, but if you like cheesy, I love that. Anyways, put that all together. A little sushi, a little Ezekiel bread with the not oatmeal, with the avocado. I don't know how we got on that, but anyways, but you see, that's also good for your gut and your gut brain connection. It literally will help your mind and your mood. That's why I enjoy it. It tastes good. I'm not torturing myself, but I also know it's very, very good for you, the pre and probiotics in all of that food. So anyways, that's the difference between psychologists and psychiatrists. They're both awesome in their own ways, but you have to know how to advocate for yourself. And, oh, by the way, I'm not giving any medical advice. Always check with a healthcare professional. Don't freaking listen to me. Do your own research. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, because I'm a DJ, I'm not a DR, disc jockey. I DJ for a living. But yeah, so, they're both awesome in their own ways. Check them out, do some research. So, you deserve the best, and you will get the best because you have the power to make decisions. And by the way, there's a lot of free help out there. So don't give me, I'm broke. A lot of free help if you want to look for it. Again, at your community centers, your churches, your synagogues, your, online. So, it's not you can even call 988, I believe. I think it's a nationwide number, but there's free help out there. You deserve better. You deserve the best. Your body, your mind are Ferrari. We are Ferraris. We put premium fuel in our body. What we eat, what we think, what we listen to, what we do, how we move. You deserve the best. Okay. So anyways, I have faith in you. You can do it. I love you. All right. I'm out of here. DJ Tony. 5, 4, 3, 2. Can I do a quick fist pump? Fucking goddamn yeah.